back in the actual Olympic Stadium. The big men, as Rob was saying, are just about to kick off in the second day of the decathlon.
And it's our first opportunity to say a very good morning to Peter Matthews.
Good morning, walking team. I'm glad you've been enjoying yourself for the last hour or so.
Thank you, Peter.
Yes, it's the 110-metre hurdles, the first event of the second day of the decathlon. And there is the summary. Ashton Eaton only just down on his world record schedule, leading at 4:7:03. Damien Warner going extremely strongly in second place, 4:5:30. And then a whole series of Europeans, headed by the Germans, Framut and Schade, just behind him. It'll be fascinating to see how Warner and Eaton get on, particularly in this first discipline, the 110 hurdles, because they're both super hurdlers. And we could have the quickest ever in a decathlon hurdles, which in fact stands to the credit of Damien Warner at 13:44. There are, as usual, 4 races, and they're seeded according to their credentials. So that's the lineup in the first of the races. Tonnesson, Weibo, Yoshiro, Felix, Zimek and Pittonvilles. So the first of 4 races then in the decathlon 110 hurdles. Tonnesson, Weibo, Yoshiro, Felix, Zimek and Pittonvilles. Quite a good crowd to cheer on the decathletes here in the Bird's Nest. So a good start made by Tonnesson, second from the inside. And now Kurt Felix, the Grenadian, having another fine run here. He's coming clear of the rest of the field. Tonnesson and Pittonvilles, but it's Kurt Felix winning by about 5 meters there. Fine run for the Grenadian, with Weibo in second place. And 14:59, well, that's a huge personal best, by about 2/10 off his previous best, though. So, well, he was lying 8th overall, and he'll be really off to an excellent start there. Could well be on the way to a national record here for a man from Grenada, and his time confirmed as 14.58, with Weibo 15:01 and Pittonvilles 15:09.
Really good run there from the Grenadian. He got himself ahead and then just moved further and further away from the rest of the field. And I wonder if Kirani James is somewhere watching in the stadium. He was first there by miles, 14:58 from a previous best of 14:77. Very, very useful points there for the Grenadian at the beginning of day 2. Great stuff.
Well, there he is in the centre of the field there. Yes, I hope his teammate Kirani is supporting him. This man certainly deserves all the support in these hard 2 days of action. Not quite so good in the pole vault when it comes to that, but otherwise let's hope he continues going from strength to strength as he is at the moment, and clearly demonstrating that in the hurdles. 3 more races to come. There's the photo. 14:58 for Kurt Felix and Weibo 15:01, Pittonvilles 15:09. So Felix adds 901 to his overnight points, takes him up to 5:239.
Second heat of the men's high hurdles in the decathlon. The big men beginning event 6. So, Oglain of Estonia, Van der Platsen Belgium, Barada Algeria, Vaisielek Poland, Ozil for France and Tayu of the United States. All pretty closely matched, these guys, in terms of their lifetime bests. Possibly Barada and Tyro, 5 and 8, the quickest. An opportunity for all these men to start their second day in style here in the Bird's Nest. So who gets the best start? And it is indeed Barada who's coming away. A really good run. Tayu's been left in his blocks a little bit here. Also running well is Ozil, the Frenchman. But Barada is storming away here. Great run from Barada. Ozil comes home for second, 14:27. and I make that another personal best. So a lifetime performance from Kurt Felix in the first of the decathlon heats in the high hurdles, and the same again there for Labi Bourada, clearly a man who thrives in the track events on the decathlon. 14.26, a great PB for the Algerian.
He did look very impressive, didn't he? A real hurdler, I might say. A very strong man, and he showed that strength in running through, but certainly impressive. He got away, as you said, Rob, right the way from the gun, and he comes away to win, well, the same sort of margin we had in the first race, really. Jose in second place, 14.71, Van der Pleitsen, 14.76, but certainly a good set of times. Taiwo and Wieselek also well under 15 seconds as well.
I can't get over that 1500 PB of the Algerian, 4.12.
Yeah, well, he's going to end up, if he can keep going, in a very high place in this decathlon, and he may well need to show something pretty good in the 1500 to enable that. He could well be on track for an African record to regain, in fact.
I think you're impressed by that, Rob, because it's probably faster than your best at 1500 metres, is it?
I knew you were going to mention that, Ovet. Yes, it is. My PB's 420.2, so the big fella would have hammered me, and that's him at the end of 9 other events. That 412 was done at the end of the decathlon in Berlin. So yes, he would thrash me. I'll concede that. And he's a pretty good hurdler as well. Labi Bourada, excellent way for his day twos to start. 941 points. Could he be closing in on regaining the African record from Kurtzen?
Heat 3 of the 110 hurdles. We've got Ashton Eaton in the next heat. Ashton is 25 points just off the world record at the moment, and if he does the world record here, he gets a bonus of $100,000. So big incentive for him. But let's get back to this race now. So St. Nicholas of the Netherlands not starting that, which is a disappointment really. He was 11th on the first day for some reason or other, not taking part in the second day. Oh, false start. Well, I think that could have been Kashinov. We'll have to wait and see. Let's just clarify that. The decathletes are allowed one false start. Without any doubt, I think that was Kashinov there. They're allowed one false start. After that, anybody else that has another false start will be DQ'd. I think it's a very strange thing to have, really, because it, as we said earlier when we had the 100 metres, it actually encourages people, I think, to have a false start in a way, because that way, if you get away with it, I'm not saying you can, but if you get a great start, then you're there's the card coming up. If you get away with it, you're lucky. And then if not, it puts the pressure on all the other athletes to make sure they get a good start, which means that they maybe sort of stay in their blocks a fraction of a second longer than they perhaps would do normally.
With 10 events, nobody wants to go out at the beginning of the second day, especially quite a few personal bests being set yesterday. So
anyway, let's go back to the race. Kashinov, Ukraine, Irene of Spain, Kazmarek of Germany, Brown, Netherlands, Hasselet, Czech Republic. So Nicholas not running, he's out. Nakamura of Japan. The way this time. Irena got a good start, the Spanish in lane 2, just on his outside. Kashinov also running well. It's Kashinov now going away. On this side, though, coming through hard. Kashinov. And then on this side, it looks as if Hasselet of the Czech Republic coming through as well. So the winning time, 13.97. Well, if it is, that's a good season's best for Kashinov. He'll be pleased with that. This track, pretty fast, actually. Most of the sprints, as we've seen in qualifying rounds, have been very good indeed. Well, Kashanov is there. Hashilev, second place with a PB, 14.20. And Brown of Netherlands in third place, 14.37.
The one to watch, second from the right, is Urania, because he had a lot of problems. Fortunately, he stayed on his feet, but you'll see one of the later hurdles, he hits it pretty hard and stumbles badly. I think he's just coming up to that, because he was going in good place and loses his position quite a lot. It's that last one as well, and loses a fair bit there, but at least he stayed on his feet.
He did well, actually, because in a decathlon, you do not want to not finish an event. So he was very lucky, or he was very talented enough to keep himself upright during that particular difficulty in the race. You see on the far side of him, though, Kashanov going well, the big Ukrainian. 7th in the last 2 Olympics. Looks like a good technical hurdler, though. Very strong. There you go. Just those last couple of hurdles for Urania, causing all sorts of problems. But he manages really to dig himself back into the running in the end, and not too far behind. In fact, 14.41 for Urania is not too far outside his season's best of 14.13. There's confirmation of that result. 13.96 for Kashanov. Haslett just behind, 14.20, and Brown in third with 14.37. So the big race coming up next. And Ashton Eaton having an absolutely superb first day with that magnificent 400 metres in 45 seconds at the end of it, which shocked everybody, I think, including himself. He was so pleased with it. Still on perhaps form, maybe, Peter, to maybe break the world record. We'll have to wait and see.
He could. I mean, it needs to go well for him, of course, but he certainly could. If you actually add up personal best that he is capable of putting together, he gets over 9,300. So he's got a bit of a margin. But of course, that includes, for instance, a 540 pole vault, and he'll do well to get close to that. But meanwhile, Kasyanov has taken his point score up to 5.317. He's going very nicely. Kasyanov troubled by a weak javelin throw. That's always his weak point when it comes to it. But Urania hitting the hurdles 8, 9 and 10 very, very hard. As you can see, he was second to Kasyanov at the point when it all started going wrong for him.
Good crowd here in the Bird's Nest this morning. It was absolutely empty when the 50k walk began, when the walkers were introduced to the crowd. You could have heard a pin drop, but this is getting better. And what can Ashton Eaton do here?
Well, what can he do, and also what can Damien Warner do? They're both very, very strong hurdlers. Warner with a personal best of 13.27 and Eaton with a best of 13.35. And the best ever in a decathlon is Warner's 13.44 that he did recently in the Pan American Games. So we could have something special. Can't stress too strongly just how impressive Eaton was, of course, with his 45 seconds in the 400 meters. So from the inside here, we've got the experienced Cuban, Jordani Garcia, a man with a best of 13.89. These are all very strong hurdlers, very well capable of running well, at least at national level, even international level. And this is Warner, superb hurdler, 13.27, and he lies second overall with 4,530 points coming into this second day. Started, of course, with a very strong 100 meters yesterday, then his personal best in the long jump and the shot. Very strong day indeed for the Canadian. Next to him, Felipe dos Santos, the Brazilian, who's going really well. He's lying 7th, 4,344. And Brazil have got a lot of good high hurdlers, and he's got a best of 13.83. Then it's Ashton Eaton. Well, he leads with 4,703 points. Terrific in the 400 meters. Also showed blazing speed with the 10.23 100 meters to start the day off yesterday. And he's got a best here of 13.35. Can he do something special and keep on track for a world record possibility and a big payday, as well as retaining his decathlon title? Michael Schrader, the German, also had a good first day. He's lying 5th, 4,355 points, giving him a real shout of a medal here in these championships. And the same can be said for the man next to him as well, his compatriot Rico Freimut, who's got 4.406 points. He's got a personal best of 13.63 in the hurdles. And then we have another man who's got a very strong second day, Ilya Skoyunov of Russia, who's lying ninth, 4.338 points. Well, it's ninth, but it's very well close up, in fact, on the medal candidates. Don't rule him out by any means. Brilliant pole vaulter, probably the best in the absence of St. Nicholas now. So the last of the four races of the decathlon, 110-metre hurdles, and we have the men lying first and second. Ashton Eaton in 6, Damien Warner in 4, and both are brilliant hurdlers. Conditions pretty much ideal here in Beijing. We've seen some excellent times already in the previous races in the decathlon. So Garcia, Warner, Dos Santos, Eaton, Strader, Freimut and Shkoyunov. Well, away they go, safely in the two big favourites, also going well. Warner in the lead now in the white and black of Canada, then Eaton coming through in the red of the US. Fowler on the inside, that won't worry the top men though, and it's Warner and Eaton, first and second, not quite as quick as we'd possibly hoped for, but 13.64, but a problem, of course, on the inside there for Garcia, who's just walking forlornly up the track. The top two came through. 13.63 for Warner, well, a little down to what he might have hoped. Ditto Eaton, 13.69, so he's lost a bit of ground now if we are looking at the possibility of a world record. But Freimut staying in third place, very much in the hunt for a medal, with the season's best of 13.91 there, and then Schrader and Shkoyunov following.
Real shame for the big Cuban, who is just trudging across the finish line, having walked off the side of the track. But as you said, Peter, perhaps we were being a bit greedy after Ashton Eaton's ridiculous 45 flat in the 400. Even you were excited about that. It was absolutely, it was fantastic. Incredible. But not quite. They're brilliant hurdlers, both of them. Ashton, of course, has been fantastic over the 400 hurdles, coming second and third in Diamond League meetings. But Warner just getting the better of his North American rival this morning on that occasion.
But of course 13.63, I mean 13.61 I remember made it from the heats through to the semi-finals of the individual event, so it's still a classy time. Yes, I mean Eaton, the previous best ever in a 400 metres was 45.64 by Bill Toomey way back in 1968 in the high altitude of Mexico City, and to go down from 45.64, the best in a decathlon, to 45 flat, wow. Anyway, these are the top two, maintaining their challenge. Warner's just gained a little bit on points, but only a handful of points ahead of Eaton. 4 events to go. Well, there's a reminder of the point scores in the decathlon before the discus. Eaton and Warner well clear, and a real battle on for the other medals. Discus, of course, being an event which may well cause a fair bit of changes in the lineup, because there's so many events which favour the sprinter jumper athletes. The strongmen can come into their own in this event. Ashton Eaton with a personal best of 47.36 and Warner 47.56. So they're once again very closely matched. Eaton's a better pole vaulter though. Slightly better javelin thrower and 1500 metre runner as well, and he's certainly the clear favourite. There are some men who've got personal bests of over 50 metres in this event. Kasyanov of Ukraine is one of those. He's got a best of 51.95. So let's see how Kasyanov can get on with his first throw then in the discus competition. Well, that's very modest. I'm not sure he'll want it measured. Perhaps he will, because you've got to be sure of getting a mark in. But for a man who's thrown over 50 metres, this was possibly even short of 30. So just didn't get it right at all there. Still, best to get something in the bag, at least, in terms of points. we are, 29 meters 12. Well, I'm pretty confident he'll do better than that. He'll be followed into the circle by Schrader. Good, consistent competitor throughout all the disciplines, and he's got some good events to come. And he's got a personal best in the discus of 47 meters 19. He's also a decent pole vaulter at 5'10", 65-meter javelin thrower, and a sub-4 20, 1500 meter runner. He's well on track to be one of the contenders for a medal, and that won't do him any harm at all. A very decent discus throw around the 45-meter level. Schrader 44.58 for that opening throw. Now Shkoyanov, he's got a capabilities of similar sort of distance in him, 46.04, his best. The European bronze medalist. He also will come into his own in the pole vault. He's got a 5.40 personal best there. Pole vault will be taking place this afternoon. Usually decathlon pole vault competitions, very long, drawn-out affairs, because of course there is considerable disparity in standards between the best men and the others. I shall be enjoying that throughout the afternoon. That's Goyanov, first throw for him in the discus. And yes, that's 43 meters or so, so getting close to his best. Keeping up his strong form. Shkoyanov lying 8th at the moment, 5.278. And that throw, 43 meters 39. Takes him up over 6,000 points. That second group including Kai Kazmirek and Labi Burada of the men who are highest place in the decathlon so far. This is Weibo now. Pretty much hitting the 40-meter tape. Just under 40 there for Weibo.
Kazyanov, huge man, great performer at his best.
Kazyanov is a 50-meter thrower. So just wrapping up this discus while we have that exciting climax to the walk. This is the first pool. In fact, the second pool are out there now, but we'll catch up on the leading performances. 45.84 for Kazyanov after that very modest opening throw that we saw earlier. Now Damien Warner, lying second to Ashton Eaton in the decathlon. He's already got off a very solid performance in that first round. It's not one of his better events, obviously, but he doesn't have a real weakness. So just a slight improvement. A few extra points, they're all valuable. 44.99 there, as we look at Ashton Eaton, who had started with 41.81. And that's better, getting towards 45. We had sort of speculated about a possibility of a world record. Well, it's not out of the question, but a little bit below par in both the hurdles and now the discus. But very solidly on his way to gold, surely. 43.34, therefore, it takes his score up to 6.451. Now the Japanese man, Oshiro, lying overall in 13th place. Shiro is best at the last, improving throughout the competition up to 46.85. Now Freimut lying in third place. It's a good throw. It's a 50-meter throw for Freimut. Well, he's going to be closing the gap on Warner ahead of him in the silver medal spot currently. Two throws over 50 meters for Freimut with that 50-17. We've got another pool in the discus, but all the top men were here, and Freimut heading them quite significantly, 50-17 for 874 points. So gaining a lot on all the rivals. Top two, well, Warner got another 767 and Eaton another 733. So just narrowing the gap between the top men, with Freimut making a big improvement in his position. A year or two back, they narrowed the cages for the hammer and the discus, and we do see quite a lot of implements going into the side, as this one has. Going back years ago, they used to have cages for hammer and discus. You have to be a bit careful if you're sitting in the crowd close by. Certainly I can remember some instances when they had cages, but it was a much wider opening, when hammers bouncing on the all-weather surface and going into the crowd get quite dangerous. One incident in Edinburgh when a 10,000 meter runner got hit by the wire of a hammer as it bounced across. So safety considerations help narrow that sector. Now, Burada got a good throw again. Taking a little time for the measurement to come through on this occasion. And it has come through there now. 41 meters 53 for the Algerian, and that's best of the lot after a couple of 40-meter throws, so just a few extra valuable points.
We talk about the widening and the slimming of the discus and hammer cages, of course. Everything's electronic nowadays, isn't it, Peter? There's no tape measures. The long jump's been measured from a beam in a little hut in halfway up the back of the stand.
Absolutely.
Moved on so much.
Somewhere there they have to bring a tape just in case it all breaks down, and sometimes you have to see a frantic search for the tape.
Exactly. Same for sprinters. I used to use my feet to measure my block settings out in case I ever lost my measuring tape, because my feet, God willing, were the one thing that I could rely on for measurement purposes.
Now, Kazmirek, very important throw for the German if he's going to stand much chance of still bidding for a medal. So he doesn't, and that means that his 40.08 remains his best throw, and he's slipped to 8th place now with 5.992. So that really leaves him well short, what, 274 points behind his teammate Schrader now, so that's a disappointment. He's a good pole vaulter, he's done 520, so he might regain a little bit from that. But a disappointing card for the German there. So a welcome to the Decathlon pole vault in the heat of the day, and indeed the decathletes are right out in the sun there. There are some umbrellas fortunately, but it's going to be hot work for them. This Decathlon pole vault usually takes quite some time. And that's the current standing. So Ashton Eaton on 6.451. Damien Warner, 6.320, Rico Freimut, 6.266, and they're moving away from the rest of the field. Freimut really moving into a strong position for challenging for a medal. But of course the pole vault could change a lot of things. Lost one or two competitors along the way. Most notably, as far as pole vaulting is concerned, Eelco St. Nicholas, the 550 man from the Netherlands. Sadly, he wasn't able to take his place when we came to the first event of the day, the 110-meter hurdles. Recap on those standings. Eaton with a lead of 131 points from Damien Warner. And if I look at personal bests, well, Eaton has done 540. And Warner could slip back a little bit because, well, even one would expect it, because his best is 480. Now, Rico Freimut, his best is 490. So they're not amongst the top competitors there. And there could be a narrowing from some of the men behind. Ashton Eaton, who started at 470, cleared on the second attempt, passed 480. Went over 470 with considerable ease on his second go. And this, in fact, his second attempt. He's already had one failure. So here he goes. Wants that pole, rides it up. Oh, yes. Well, each height he's attempted, he had a poor first attempt, but an excellent second one. Let's look at this. Very good. Tucks himself nicely over there and with plenty to spare. Well, plenty. This is about 20 or 30 centimeters. Up to 7,331 points. And every chance of extending his lead quite considerably now. Particularly Schrader is already out, and I'm not sure that Warner could vault as high as Eaton. Second attempt coming up then from Marcel Weibo, the other Estonian. Of course, is at college in the States and is the NCAA champion both this year and last. Oh no, failure there from the man from the University of Georgia.
Hey, should I pass? 5'10"? I don't have time.
Weibo will be looking for this. He's got a personal best of 520. So now it's Kasyanov. We've had some failures in this height, though, for others. Dos Santos, Wieselek and Freimut all failing. Freimut the most significant, because that's his opening height. But just, I say failing, just on their first attempts. Kasyanov successfully negotiates 460. Seventh placer at the Olympic Games, both in 2008 and 2012. The winner of the IF multi-event challenge. And now Damien Warner. Well, all going well for him so far in this decathlon competition. This is his first attempt at 460. Excels as a sprinter. Won the hurdles start of today. Fine. Zimek, first time we've seen him. 5 meters. Yeah. And just ahead of him on the vaulting order, Ashton Eaton, who again is passing. So passing 5 meters is the leader, having cleared 470 and 490 on his second attempt. And Zimek nicely clear. Man who's got a pole vault best of 5:45. This is his top event. Student at the University of Wisconsin, third in the US Decathlon Championships this year. So taking part in his first international championship. Now Weibo, student of course again in the US. He too pops over. Well, Kazmarek, every chance to gain considerably on his teammate Schrader and Freimut in this event. Schrader already out. Here's Kazmarek then at 5 meters. Oh yes, there's more to come, I trust, for him. European under-23 champion 2 years ago. And the winner at Gutsis this year in the decathlon. 8.462 points. Close to his personal best set last year of 8.471. Gutsis, the annual feast of multi-events. Decathlon for women and decathlon for men, held every year in Austria. Marvellous meeting. I've never been there. One day I'd love to, because it does sound like a joy for athletics fans, as you get most of the world's top multi-eventers in action year after year. Shkoyanov is our next 5-meter man. Cleared 480 on his opening height. He continues on his way with that 5-meter vault. Four men, thus over 5 meters, first time. Kasyanov there. First attempt failure. Damien Warner. The pole vault bar is at 4 meters 70. He's had 2 jumps, 2 successives, 450, 460. There are men breathing down on his second place position behind him. You could narrow that gap at least. He doesn't want to lose too much ground either to Eaton, although Eaton does seem to be fairly well clear of the pack now. Group B, and the Canadian Damien Warner. 4m70, first attempt. No, under the bar. First bit of problem for him. So here is Ashton Eaton. Well, he cleared previous heights on his second attempt, 470, 490. So here he goes at 510. Let's hope that's an augury for him. Ashton Eaton plants that pole, pushes off. Oh yes, very good. 510. Stretches away with his lead in the competition with that clearance. Takes his point score up to 7.392. Well ahead. Kazmarek. Oh, way over. Beautiful clearance by the German. Now, this is proving to be an event that's of vital importance to him. Oh, so much more to come. Let's hope he can replicate that sort of performance when he goes on to yet higher heights. He's already up now into fifth at 6.933. Well, Eaton can be well pleased with his day's work so far, as we now look at the third attempt coming up from Marcel Wiebo of Estonia at 5m10. So it's a busy day, a few failures at previous heights. This is just 10 centimeters short of his lifetime best. Oh, and he gets that, just wiggles round it. Stays up. With considerable pleasure, the NCAA champion clears at another height. It's up to 13th place, 6.665 points, with the chance to add. Back to Pool B and Dos Santos of Brazil. 470, second attempt. That's okay. So Freimut over, Brown over on their first attempts. Nakamura's had two failures. Dos Santos clear on his second attempt. Kasyanov, Warner and Oiglein plus Oshiro to go at this second attempt sequence. So now it's Kasyanov. Added to Anna Melnichenko, the women's heptathlon champion from 2 years ago when the championships were held in Moscow. So he also clear. Third attempt, 470. Damien Ward, second attempt for the Canadian at 470, the man lying second in the decathlon. Came in at 450, 460, neither any problem for him. Getting the crowd support. Finding Eaton going further away. He wants to keep ahead of the chasers. Kazmarek gaining ground. Traders lost ground. Freimut is still around. 470 Warner. And he gets it. And indeed very nicely so too. So he's getting towards his personal best level. And he's going well, as he has throughout this competition. Either setting personal bests or getting close to them in most of the events. He's up to 7,139. Kazmarek. He continues to vault beautifully, doesn't he? And it does look as if there's quite a lot more to come whenever we see him. And now he's added 520 to his repertoire, joining Zimek clear at that height. Well, fifth place. He's narrowing the gap on those ahead of him. Now, Ashton Eaton then. Once again, second attempt. He's 3 heights. He's had second attempt successes, so this is his second attempt at 520. Can he keep that sequence going? He's a very fine vaulter, of course, with a personal best of 540. But with every jump, he strengthens his hold on that gold medal. Oh, very nice indeed, very tidy. 520 again, so that's 4 heights, 4 second go clearances. Rico Freimut has a scare at his opening height, but he's still there. Now he tries 480. And gets it. Now Freimut has a best of 490, so he's getting close to his best. But he needs everything if he wants to hang on to his high position. In fact, he has now overtaken at the moment Damien Warner, although Warner's still around. Because, no, he's still behind Warner, wrong, 7,115. He's still in third place. Warner has got 7,169, no, not yet there. This is Kazyanov. Well, every 10-centimetre increment here means about another 30 points on the international scoring tables. Kazyanov hits it, but it stays up okay. So he's now made his way to 6th at 6,950. New height then for Pool A, and it's 530, and this is Ashton Eaton. Each height he's failed of opening attempt. We'll see whether he can change that sequence. It's close. Pool B, failure there. Plenty of height, just coming down on it. Kazmarek, one failure, 5:30. Now it's Guryanov. No, didn't approach that with his usual zeal. That seems to have a little trouble there. Clean card all the way up to 5:20 for the Russian. Eaton, second attempt, 5:30. So 5:20 still, the best for Eaton with one attempt left at 5:30. A height cleared by Thomas van der Pletzen. Eaton, 5:30. Oh, no, afraid not. So that's the end of Ashton Eaton's pole vaulting today. He's got 5 meters 20, which has taken his leading score up to 7,423 points. Damien Warner. 480, second attempt. Yes, Warner continues to excel here in this decathlon. On his way to a huge score, and looks pretty set for the silver medal. Okay, there's still 2 events to come, but that's what it's looking like. Labi Borabi back on Pool B is taking his last attempt at 480. Just his second attempt, the second height he's attempted, came in and cleared 460. Having some trouble at this height. Oh, until now, that's very nice. Five men over 480 in this pool. Nico Freimut. This to equal his personal best. Already not, so again 480. So he's in third place with 2 events to go in the decathlon. He's got 7.115. But Warner's also cleared 480, so there hasn't been any gain there. That means, unless, of course, Warner's got 1 attempt left, but Freimut still 54 points behind the Canadian. That means it's still all to play for when it comes to the final 2 events. Kasyanov now. Well, Kasyanov, very experienced. European silver medalist in 2012, former IF Challenge winner, twice 7th at the Olympics, 8.479 points, his best. That was 6 years ago. He's always let down by his javelin throwing. But this again would be a personal best were he to clear it in the pole vault, as Peter Brown, the one man who has gone clear, looks on. Well, off we go. 1 minute clock beginning to tick down. As Kasyanov gets ready. Ah, right. Well, dramatic, but no, 480 was enough for him today, as it turns out. He's 6th overall with 6.950 points. Moved up a little today. He was, of course, 4th in 2009. I don't think he's going to finish as high as that because he does have this weak javelin throw. There's a problem with his throwing arm. Damien Warner, can he get yet another personal best here in what is proving a splendid couple of days for the Canadian? The man who's 8.659 points is the 2nd best in the world this year, behind Trey Hardy, of course, who had to pull out through injury yesterday. A score that looks set to be beaten, of course, by Ashton Eaton. Damien Warner, 490. Oh, no. So it's equaling his personal best. Can't ask for much more than that. Damien Warner continues to go smoothly on his way to a medal in the decathlon. So 7.169 points. He's in 2nd. That is a very long way behind Eaton, of course, at 7.423. he's 54 ahead of Freimut. And then there's another 100 plus points back to Shkoyanov in fourth at 7:00.07. In the last event, the pole vault in the decathlon, the best vaulter was Thomas van der Pleitsen at 5:30. And Ashton Eaton was amongst those who cleared 5:20, and he goes in now with a very big lead and even a possibility of a world record. He'll need to be, I mean, what he could do, say, is if he did a 64-meter javelin, he's capable of doing more than that, he would then need about 4:18 for the 1,500 meters, and that's pushing it. That's within his personal best, though. He's certainly on track to get a super gold medal to retain his title. Ashton Eaton, the world leader, or the world record holder, I should say. This is his first decathlon for a couple of years. And he leads with 7,423 points. Damien Warner has 7,169. Rico Freimut, 7,115. Then we've got Shkiranov, 7,007, the other man over 7,000 points. Javelin and the 1,500 meters to come. There then is the lineup for the Group B Javelin, and it features the top men in action. They're throwing in reverse order, it seems, because Ashton Eaton leads from Damien Warner. Well, Lloyd Glan threw 68 metres in the first pool. I wonder if we'll get anyone who throws it as far as that. Now, Ashton Eaton's got a best of 66.64. To keep in world record contention, he'll have to get close to that. Damien Warner's got a best of 64.67. He's also heading for a super score. Well, shows us there's very, very little wind in the stadium. Javelin in this might have liked a little bit of wind behind them. There's Peter Brown's record. He's 4.90 in the pole vault, moved him up some in the standings, and so too this man. Kazmarek had a good pole vault competition, including a personal best at 5 meters 20. So he's now up into fifth, 6.964. And Freimut very much in contention, although he did lose a bit of ground in the pole vault, but he's at third place. There's Warner's. Splendidly consistent series of marks, but topped above all by his super sprinting. Won the 110 hurdles to start the day here today, 13.63. Narrowly ahead of Ashton Eaton here. Eaton's time just a little bit down on what we might have expected in the hurdles, but nonetheless a fair discus throw of 42 and a good pole vault of 5.20 does mean that he's not only in contention to retain his title and set a super score, world leading mark for sure, but he could just challenge his world record. To do that, though, he'd have to really go all out in the 1,500. And Decathlon's not always ready to do that, because it's a hard couple of days and it's still hot and sticky here in Beijing. Kai Kazmarek will open the competition, and he'll be followed by his German teammate Rico Freimut. It's Felipe dos Santos, Brazil, not starting, which is disappointing. I think he may have hurt himself in the final pole vault. He was going well in that.
3 throws each, the scoreboards are displayed all the way around the infield, and it's all about the points, with just the 1,500 metres to come this evening, an absolutely crucial javelin competition round.
Kazmarek's got a best in the javelin of 64.45, and if he's going to continue his challenge for medals, he's going to have to produce something special. I guess the same sort of thing might be true for Freimut. If he does produce something special, he'll have an easier task to get that bronze medal, which he's favourite at the moment. Kai Kazmarek, winner at Goetzes this year, so best possible start to the year when he scored 8,462 points. And he was the European under-23 champion a couple of years ago, 24 years of age, so scope for improvement. Great tradition of multi-events in Germany, and there's a good contingent of German supporters here who group together to watch each event here. So here we come, the first throw of this Pool A of the Javelin. And the crowd roaring each javelin on its way, and that's a fair start for Kaczmarek because he's over 60 meters. .62 meters 55, takes his score up to 7.740, which could mean he's heading for something around 8,400, in other words close to his best, when we add in what he's capable of at 1,500. Now, Freimut. His best, very similar, 65.04 is his career best in the javelin. But that's short of 60. That means the gap between the two Germans will have narrowed. Two throws each, of course, to come. 57.69 for Freimut, and that takes him up to 7.818. Still a valuable 78 ahead of Kaczmarek. That's 78 points. That's a lot to make up on a 800 meters. So Kaczmarek will be certainly hoping for more. So too come to that with Freimut to settle the issue. This is Peter Brown, the Dutchman who won the European under-23 title this year. 8.195 points then. He's got a personal best of just over 60 meters. Good to see the crowd enthusiastically supporting the athletes when they ask for help. A little short there. Only just over 50. Oh, and he's over the line anyway. Zach Zimek from the USA. Not such a good javelin throw, you can see by those credentials. Short approach, back comes the arm, and another throw just over 50. Shkoyanov, who's in 4th place overall coming into this javelin competition, and with the best of 63.58. Looks off his cap, again asks for support, gets it. Couldn't quite manage as much as he would have liked in the pole vault. He did 5.20 and then didn't really get very close at 5.30. He's a man who has done 5.40. So here comes Shkoyanov's javelin throw. Getting closer to 60. .56.64 for the Russian. Takes his tally up to 7.694. Now behind Kaczmarek. Now, Ashton Eaton in the javelin. And how far is this going to go? Oh, it's a pretty decent throw. It's keeping him in touch of that world record, perhaps, 63.63. And now we've got Damien Warner pretty much secure in the silver medal spot just at the moment. Well, Eaton's personal best was 66.64, so he's just a little down on that. Warner's got a best of 64.67. So let's see how he can get on in his first throw. And that's winging his way out, very similar distance. 63.50, so it takes him up to 7.960. And it takes Eaton up to 8.216. Here's Freimut. He's in third place. We're moving on to the third round. Incidentally, Eaton had a big throw in the second round, around 65 metres, but it was just a narrow foul. Freimut in third place, hoping to consolidate that. Yeah, well, that'll help. It's 60 metres. 60.61. That takes him to 7.862. Well, it looks like the medals are pretty much determined there. There's the result of the javelin. Borada getting the best. But Eaton, Warner and Freimut retaining their 1, 2, 3 and likely to stay in that position with the 1500 to come. But Eaton will need 4:18.25 for the world record in the 1500. So the summary of the two javelins put together, Oiglani the best and this Weibo second, these two Estonians. But our top men staying strongly in contention.
That's the summary after 9 events. Ashton Eaton, who could in theory break the world record, but he's going to need to run something like 4:18 in the 1500 metres. The medal race, as it were, will be the second of the 2 heats. We have 11 athletes scheduled to round off their 2 days of hard work. 3 3/4 laps of the track. Steve Ovett once famously said, 9 warm-ups and 1 decent event. That's the decathlon. So, a couple of really good athletes in this one. Vasilek, he's lying in 17th overall, the quickest in this field. Nakamura of Japan and Urena, the Spaniard. And just to show you how it goes in decathlon, Zimek is the slowest in the field, but he's the highest ranked at the moment. There he is on the outside. He's lying in 12th place overall. Peter Brown, European under-23 gold medalist this year. 4:28 this season. He's lying in 15th. And Nakamura, there he is, by far the fastest in the field. 4:13 his PB and 4:14 this season. Anything close to that would get him nearly 850 points. So he can finish with a flourish. Try and upgrade his position of 19th at the moment. Then Jorge Urena, European under-23 silver this year. 4:25. That would be getting him about 830, 835 points. So possibility for him to finish in style as well. Vasilek on the inside, twice national indoor champion. He's a 4:35 man. He's lying in 17th overall. So this, for athletes from 12th down to 22nd. It'll be tough going for some of these athletes, but certainly we might expect a very good time to be laid down by Akiko Nakamura, the Asian champion. And he goes to the front. An exhausting couple of days. Some of the events these guys have taken part in have been conducted in searing heat. And it is Nakamura who's at the front early on. No sign yet of Jorge Urena, the Spaniard, who is by some margin the second quickest in the field. But the Japanese man wants to finish his 2 days in style.
Well, at this sort of speed, he might be going a little bit faster than the first lap in the men's 5,000 metres we saw previously. He's doing a good job taking them through. Just behind him, you can see the big Peter Brown of the Netherlands. Big man, but he's trying hard. His best at this event is a good 10 seconds slower than Nakamura. So he's trying to hang on for as long as he can.
Javelin of Estonia, European under-23 bronze medalist a couple of years ago. He's in third, 65.7. That's good going for 400 metres, especially at the end of what they've just done. And he's stretching away from Braun and from the Estonian in third.
Nakamura's doing a good job. It's hard work out there. As you said, Rob, it's been the end of 2 days of... The competitions are hard, but the conditions here have been fierce. They really have. They haven't been out like the walkers intense for 3 hours, 40 minutes, but they're out there in the sun for things like the pole vault for that length of time, really. Nakamura, you can see, he's determined to make this, as you say, Rob, something to remember this last 1500-metre race for him in the World Championships. Braun just behind him, and then tucked in behind him, Javelin of Estonia.
Yes, he's in third, and then Pitonvils is trying to close the gap on the Estonian, and looks like he's doing so. But the Japanese decathlete way out front, and he's going to move up the leaderboard. He's in 19th, but he's going to pick up some very valuable points here. 2:13 at 800 metres. He's running well.
Well, we should remember he was, of course, a runner. He competed at the 400 hurdles in the 2012 Olympics.
Well, he's not a bad 1500-metre runner here. So Nakamura leads. Braun of the Netherlands in second, and Pitonvils has indeed gone past the Estonian Javelin, who's starting to tire. No move whatsoever from Jorge Urena, the second fastest in the field on paper. He's very tired, clearly.
Well, yeah, but there's not much incentive for him because he got no points in the pole vault with a failure to clear a height. So it's nice that he's continuing. He wants to finish, but I mean, there's no incentive to do well.
And therefore no incentive to hurt himself. So Akiko Nakamura, well, he's got to be about 60 metres clear, takes the bell in 3:06.9. This is cracking running from the Japanese. Braun in second, Pitonvils in third, the Estonian Javelin. Well, you can feel his agony from here. He's in fourth, and the Frenchman Ozil may well catch him on the last lap. There are some very tired men here. Nakamura has slowed a fraction, but he's still running. That was inside 71 seconds for that last lap. And a bit of a battle going on for second place. There it is, Braun and Pitonvils, second and third, and they'll drag each other round. And Ozil is in fact going to catch, and has already just caught Javelin. So good running from the Frenchman. But this is Nakamura finishing his 2 days in style. The arms are waving, the shoulders are moving from side to side. This is an excellent run. He's miles clear. Pitonvils is finishing much quicker than the Dutch athlete. He's going to be pretty close to his lifetime best, about 4:16 maybe. Great run there from the Japanese man, the former 400-metre hurdler. He's picked up some massive points there, around about 8:40. Pitonvils comes home in about 8:27.
Personal best.
Great for him. And Braun coming through in third. Ozil finishing really quickly, and he's dragging Vaisiolek with him. One by one, these big men are lumbering home. Great performances here, especially in such tough, muggy conditions. Van der Platsen just coming across the line. And then the big American, well, we said he was one of the slowest in the field on paper. He hasn't finished last, inside 5 minutes, and they all crash to the ground. There's nothing left.
I think Zenit might have just got his personal best too, 4:56.92. He might just have got that. So quite remarkably, with Pitonvils and Ose getting personal best, despite the conditions.
Nakamura, great work from him, 837 points. Pitonvils came through really well for second. And Zach Simic does indeed secure a personal best. A tough day, and the big heat is still to come with all the medals to be decided.
Well, looking at Stahl in the discus. Going back to that decathlon, Braun ended up with 8:114 and Ose 8:093, the top two on the overall placings. Now that's Stahl. Let's see where his discus is landing. Oh, that's very good. His first senior competition, and he's proving to be a man who can compete at the top level. Did very well to make the final, and now he's excelling in it. series of men throwing very similar distances, just short of 65 meters. Malachowski, of course, well ahead of them. Friidrott, Swedish Federation. Daniel Stahl there, 64.42. He's now in fourth. So the top men in the decathlon then take to their marks. These are the men who in positions 1st to 11th. And this will determine the final standings, though I have to say it looks very clear-cut. Barring any accident, it's going to be Eaton and Warner and Freimuth. But you never know, they've got to finish, and the subplot, of course, is can Eaton run 4:18.25 or better, and that would give him the world record and a huge bonus of $100,000 that's on offer. It's worth going for. So this is Rico Freimuth. Now, he is in third place, 7.862. There's a massive lead, in fact, over fourth at 7.760. That's pretty much unclosable. Kasyanov, he is lying 10th at 7.529. One of the most experienced competitors in this lineup. Adam Helselet, the top Czech now. And he's a younger man, improving quite steadily. He's in 9th place, just over 7,500 points. And just one place ahead of him is this man, Kurt Felix of Grenada. He's got a best of 4.36. Marcel Weibo, the Estonian, American collegiate champion. He's 11th. He's got a best of 4.28. And next to him is a man who might well help Eaton, because this is Barada of Algeria. Now, he's got a best of 4.12.15. If he were to run at that sort of pace, Eaton can tuck in and be benefited by it.
He's the perfect hare if it works out that way.
Kazmirek of Germany. He's in 5th, 7.740. Can't really see him moving up from that position, unless he produces something very extraordinary. Now here is Ashton Eaton. Well, his personal best is 4:14.48. Is it the sort of day which he can run that sort of time? Is he fit enough? Is he really dedicated to going for it? Certainly there's a huge reward if he does. He's certain of the gold medal, unless he falls over. Ashton Eaton, 4th from the inside. Then we've got Michael Schrader of Germany. He's another good man. He's got 4:19.32 credentials, but he's too far back. He's in 7th place at 7.622. Too far back to move up more than a place or two. Damien Warner, surely secure with the silver medal, because he's got a best of 4.24. He's on 7.960 points. That's way, way behind Eaton, but it's also, importantly, 98 points ahead of Freimuth. And with each second worth about 7 seconds, one can't see those gaps being closed. Ilya Shkuranov of Russia, he's in 4th place at 7.760. But that again is 102 points behind Freimuth. So unusually, we're in a situation where we're pretty sure of where the medals are going to go. But there is a very important thing here, and that is how fast will Ashton Eaton run. What he needs to do is run laps of around 69 seconds. Steve Ovett, do you think that's on?
If there was 100,000 up for grabs, I'm sure it would be. He's going to go for it. It really is. And a world record as well in the World Championships. Why not go for that?
Let's see how it transpires then. Eaton at the moment, just making sure he just gets into a steady pace. He's in 5th place. Barada, the man we just might be the one to follow, he's in 2nd place. Schrader leading them on, and as I said, Schrader is also a sub 4:20 man, so it is the men with the best credentials. And Eaton going through in 5th place. I'll time each of his laps to see how close he gets to 69 seconds. The big men going at a steady rate.
He's not as quick on that first lap, or that first 300 metres, as Nakamura was, and Nakamura came home in a time that was just quick enough for Eaton to break the world record. But this is slower than the Japanese athlete in the first of the heats. He's got to start moving through and do so quickly.
Well, that was 69.34, but I've got Eaton in 71.1.
Look, it's still possible. If I was Eaton, I'd take the first lap fairly comfortably, which he's doing, and then start working on the last 2 laps. Not to go too hard to start with, and he's doing just that, really.
He is indeed. So it's Barada who's overtaken Schrader now, and Eaton moving into 3rd place, timing it nicely. He knows what he's got to do quite clearly.
There's a Mexican wave going round to accompany these decathletes. It's creating a huge amount of noise and a great energy here in the stadium. Eaton closing up on the lead too. How exciting this would be to get a world record on the penultimate night.
Yeah, we've had just 2 championship records so far, and a world record will really cap it all. So it is Barada. Eaton now coming past, or at least onto the shoulder of Schrader. Shkiranov just behind them. Coming up then to the 800-metre point. And again, I'll click my watch when Eaton goes through, which is now. So 2:21.56 and 2:22.57. Another 71.5 though for Eaton.
Yeah, but he's going to run this last lap faster, Peter. Let's face it.
Well, after a man, he ran 45 seconds for 400.
You know, you've got a 400-metre runner here that can run 45 seconds. And Barada's doing a good job taking him through. And here comes Eaton now. He's up for it. The crowd know it's on for a world record. They're being told by the PA system here that this man could do it. Let's just see what he's got to run for this last lap to break this world record.
He's got to start pushing at a pace here. If he's going for the world record, it's going to be very, very tight. Has he got a very special finish in store for us? Certainly the Algerians helping here. A perfect hair. And this is going to come down to a tear-up over the last 400 metres.
Eaton goes through in just about 3:15, so that means he needs a 63.
He can do it. I'm sure he can do it. He's just got to keep himself under control, just work hard. Barada's doing the perfect pace-making for him. Come on, Ashton. Change gear. He's starting to slow a little bit, but he can kick maybe over this last 200 metres. That's when he's got to do it.
He's 5 seconds outside the pace at the moment. He's got to do an awful lot over the last 250 metres now. He's going for it, but Barada's still ahead of him. He's got him to key off. You can see now that the gap is beginning to close. Eaton goes through in about 3:48 with 200 to go. He needs 4:18.25 for the world record. Barada going for glory, the Algerian at the head of the field. Eaton going for the world record. He's going to win the gold medal. He's the champion again. He's retained his title, and now just let's look out on that clock. It's ticking over. 4:05, 4:06. We're looking for something under 4:18. He's really having a good go for it. Barada's coming up now, but Eaton, is he going to get there? It's going to be so close. Wow, what a run. 4:16.62. Barada did indeed prove to be absolutely the right man to be able to key off, and Eaton has run 4:17.52. The world record has gone to Ashton Eaton. He's taken his own world record. Beautifully paced run, and well, it's always something special when a world record goes at a World Championships. We haven't had one this time, and who could be more deserving than Ashton Eaton to get it?
There was so much heart on display on that last 400 metres. I don't think it would have happened without Labi Barada. He was the perfect pacemaker. And the key, Steve, I think, with about 2:50 to go, you saw him speed up and close the gap on the Algerian. He really deserves that, because he found that from nowhere. He was in agony with 400 to go. He was slowing down on that first 100 metres of the last lap, and then on the back straight, that's where he decided he was going to secure a new world record. That was brilliant to witness. Such guts, such determination, and above all, such incredible talent from the American.
Well, we concentrated quite rightly, of course, we had to, on Eaton, but Damien Warner's taken the silver medal, and he's broken his Canadian national record of 8:6.95. Rico Freimut got the bronze with a personal best 8:5.41, and Shkiranov came through very close to that. Wonderful moments. There's Brianne, his wife. She has got silver in the heptathlon. She wins $40,000. He wins $60,000 for winning the decathlon, plus a small matter of $100,000. $200,000 to the Eaton family. It's not all about money, though. What it really is a wonderful competitive record, and Ashton Eaton has just put himself through a fantastic 2 days of competition. Some events he was a little ahead, some events he was a little behind. It's his first heptathlon for 2 years, and it's a world record again.
Well, what a turnaround. I remember when he withdrew from Got6 earlier this season, being precautionary with a bit of an injury he had. He says, don't worry, it's all about the big G in Beijing. He was so excited to be taking first part in his first full decathlon for 2 years that he made the right decision, didn't he, early season, and he kept it all in the tank. Absolutely outstanding. The next IAAF World Championships are indoors in Portland in March. He is an Oregon Duck. He has big affiliation with Oregon and obviously Portland, and therefore Eugene. They're really going to be hoping that he's going to go to that World Indoor Championships.
Look at the emotion. He's given that absolutely everything. He has achieved so much in the sport, but rarely do you see so much feeling on display. It was as if he left his heart and his soul on that track in the last 400 meters. I'm not sure he even knows where he got that last 400 from. He really had to turn that on.
And if I was him, I'd dip into his bank account and give Barada some money for doing the pacemaking there, because without that man, there's no question in my mind, if he hadn't got Barada to key off, he wouldn't have got it. No question about it.
A great embrace between the two North Americans, and still the tears are flowing from Ashton Eaton. The world record has gone.
And a tremendous series of performances by Damien Warner, which included a number of personal bests. It really was a very fine competition. 7 men over 8,400 points. National record for Kurt Felix just behind them in 8th place at 8,302. Borada rewarded with regaining his African record at 8,461 and 5th place overall as well. He moved up the standings quite a lot, and everyone wants to congratulate the great man himself. Well, he is the finest talent I think we've seen. He took Roman Chevrolet's world record. He's gone past Dan O'Brien for the Americans, and he's now got 2 world titles as well. This is a very special athlete. 9,045, and one of the keys to it, of course, above all, was that incredible 400 meters last night. 45 seconds, certainly one of the greatest performances we've ever seen in an individual event, if not the greatest, in an individual event in a decathlon.
Oh, he won't mind watching these replays back again. I just can't believe how much heart he displayed in that last 250 meters. Barada, well, you couldn't have scripted that any better. But look at him, there's absolutely nothing left, but he did it.
You have a window of opportunity as an athlete, and then when you get that window open, you have to take it every single time when you can, because you just don't know what's round the corner with injury and illness. Therefore, he knows what he's doing. Of course he does. He's the best that the world has ever seen. Everything would have been planned out. He knew what he had to do, and he executed to absolute perfection.
It's still, and it's going to continue hurting for a long, long time. But there's some hurt when you've just got a world record, though. Wow.
Have you seen him as emotional as this with some of his other victories?
No. This is very, very, very special. And after all, if you break a world record, and he has done that, and indoors, and then you set your sights and you do it again, and you know, and particularly an event like the decathlon where it's so hard work. Well, he's so far ahead of the rest of the world, of course, he's got to set his own targets. I mean, full marks to Damien Warner is a terrific second best, but he's, well, nearly 400 points behind. That's a big margin. Sheer hard work. Barada looks so good, though, doesn't he? And he gets his African record, takes that away from Kurtzen by a big margin.
Well, there was talk before this World Championship, would we get a world record in the women's hammer? It's gone this year. Would we get one in the men's triple jump and Jonathan Edwards' 18:29 be surpassed? Maybe. Did anyone really see Ashton Eaton's world record coming there in the decathlon? Well, he would have. And once he got up and running, everybody started to get excited. That's nice. The camaraderie between multi-eventers always inspires me. Beautiful picture. Look at that. All the competitors, the 3 medalists at the front. That is one to show the grandkids a few years down the line. I was in the competition when Ashton Eaton did 9,045 points.